Can you hear my water?
Yeah, where's yours?
Right on the left side.
Oh,
All righty, guys. Thank you to everyone tuning in. I'm going to let people come on in, and I am going to go to the page and make sure we're streaming, make sure everything is going well, and we're live.
yes, let's
And
stream.
we are. All right. So, welcome to today's Black Quarantine Report. I am your host, Kimbrio, and I am so happy to have Tyler Nation.
Yes.
Listen, the Tylers, darling. Now, I've not had a couple on, and I think that it's really important to talk to a couple during this time. You know what I mean? A family unit during this time, and kind of talk about how things have affected you, the good, the bad, the ugly, the homeschooling. I mean, it can go deep. You know what I mean? And you guys are one of my favorite couples. And I'm like, well, if I could introduce you guys to like the rest of the world, you could be somebody else's favorite couple. Like I could win-win on it, you know?
Okay. All
Yeah, I
right.
dig it. I dig.
So
Appreciate it.
let people know, just introduce Tyler Nation, introduce who you are, and with these circumstances today, because you are who you are, give the rundown of the kitties that's back there. Okay.
So
they will be. I'm sure they'll be
They're
popping
gonna pop
in.
up.
Yes.
So my name is David. It's my lovely wife Ashley, and we are the president and first lady of the Tyler Nation, where the Tyler Nation is six deep.
With kids.
Yeah, six deep with kids.
Right.
Yeah.
We're
We're not sister wives. We're not. No.
Let's be
Um,
clear, guys. This is not one of those conversations.
No, it's not.
I ain't got time.
Mm-mm.
We got what? 14, 7, 6, 6, 3, 3.
Yeah.
Well, tomorrow's 4, 4.
4-4 tomorrow, which
Yes.
we'll get to because I've been told that I've been summoned to give a birthday card, which I'm on it. I mean, I don't have anything else to do during this quarantine time. I'm going to get on that. So we're 14, 7. The first set of twins is 6.
Yes.
And the second set of twins will be 4 tomorrow.
Yep.
Tomorrow. Now, I want to ask as we introduce you guys to people that don't know you, give me a little intro on your faith. Give me a little intro about where you guys are as far as being a family of faith.
Oh well, we love Jesus. Um,
Put them eyebrows. We love Jesus.
well, I think it's important to be able to articulate a little bit more than just we believe in God or we are Christians, simply because those have kind of become very cliche.
Yes.
And a belief in God can mean a wide variety of things.
Right.
So my background, I am a prenatal PK. Like my dad has been preaching literally all my life.
Literally. Since before your life.
I'm one of those that grew up in like a Southern Baptist church, very, very traditional.
Yeah.
Church can be anywhere from 2 to 6 days.
Well, I thought she was about to say hours, but
No. Because there's a myriad of activities and
Yes.
and ministries that
And
one can be
Sunday
a part of.
school and
And
children's church.
my parents were a firm believer in drugs. They drug us everywhere they went, and that church
You know
was
what?
mandatory. Listen. What you're not gonna do is act like church was optional.
It was not.
Yeah,
It was
see,
not.
so it's safe to say that my parents was on drugs because
Yeah.
Sunday, rain, shine, sleet, or snow, we
Church.
got drugged to church.
That's
'Cause,
what
I mean,
it was.
it would just really look bad if if the preacher's son just got to
Didn't come.
randomly not go. My father became a pastor when I was 9,
Wow.
10.
Okay.
And but I mean, I've been, like I said, been in the church all my life except for 18 to 24.
You know, listen.
Far country.
Listen. Okay. But it's funny because all of this time, like, for people that don't know, and shout out to all of the Matson, Yates, Rich South people who are tuning in. Shout out. We love you guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I didn't know you were a PK. I just knew you as silly. Always silly. I knew you were churchy because, you know, I was churchy too. I was the New Faith Jam leader, you know.
Listen, so I was having this conversation the other day.
Can y'all hear them back there?
What children yelling?
Can
you hear them?
They're actually sliding down the stairs.
With you? That is fine. That is sound effects for this episode.
I was just wondering if you can hear them. They're sliding down the stairs. I just, you know.
So
that's sound effects for this episode. That's fine.
I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine. I was like, I was mad corny growing up because I was a victim of a two-parent church household. Like,
but I was too, so I didn't think you were corny. Maybe that's what it was.
But that's because we understood each other. Like, you know, like the vocabulary, the behavior is very similar when you grow up in church.
Yeah.
And so, but I think it was cool because my parents were very intentional about not making PK life bleed, you know, like bleed over into Monday through Saturday for the kids. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Allowing you to actually be kids and have your own identity.
Yeah. So I mean, now there were some times where I remember telling my friends that they had to go because we had to go to choir rehearsal.
I mean, but you know,
But yeah. And then
that's pretty,
everybody was going to church.
Yeah, you know, so it wasn't like
overwhelming.
It wasn't bad. Like it was kind of understood. Like, yo, the Tylers, they love Jesus.
I mean, yeah, that's how I didn't become a PK. My mom became a minister when I was like 16. So that's late in life, you know. But I get it. It was the same kind of thing. Now, what about for you, Ashley? Was this always a forever with you? Is what you looking like? Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I went to church. I've been going to church all my life. My grandmother is actually a founding member of Roseland Bible Church, which is on 111th, like right off Wentworth. But that church started. The services was at my grandmother's house, and and her phone number was the prayer line. And I grew up. Hearing my grandmother wake up early in the morning praying for all the souls, her and her best friend. And we were in that church for a very long time. And then we transitioned to another church, Christ Bible Church on the south side of Chicago. And
78th and Coles.
Whoever playing the video of us, turn it down. I hear the echo. Okay, go ahead.
So that was that's where we met. So I've only been to 2 churches, now 3 churches in my whole life. So that kind of
that's heavy too. I never considered that. It's heavy to hear of you guys being so ingrained in the church, because I want to ask you guys, I want to let you know why I ask that. And I ask that because social media is such a tool, even when we don't know. And we don't know how we influence the people around us. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you guys have been a consistent example of young Black adulthood that was respectful of spirituality and that sort of thing. Even when I was straying and I was like, church getting on my nerves. Y'all was always like that. I might have to snooze you for a minute, like you talking too positive and like bringing God in this, and I don't want to hear about it right now. And I just want to commend you for being active examples. That is literally what ministry is, being active examples of what modern Christianity looks like.
Yeah.
It's like my life, you know, it's not cookie cutter, you know, It's real life. And I think that that's something that David and I strive to talk about in all of our posts. And when, you know, day to day with our friends, it's just, we real, you know?
Yeah. And before we hop into the pandemic talk, because I want to let you know this too, and I know that there are people that are watching that are feeling how I'm feeling. I want to thank you guys too for your display of Black love. It's needed. It's needed today.
Oh, light-skinned brother.
I love you guys. Like, but no, seriously, it's needed today. It's needed today. This is a time where marriage and respect and those sort of things are not necessarily broadcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even when people are married, it's not always healthy.
Yeah.
And I love
Yeah.
that you guys are a beautiful, positive example. You guys often post, and especially you, David, you'll post like, look, marriage lessons. This is what I learned today. And when you learn this and apply this to your marriage, you'll be better off. And I'll be like, touche. Like
Well, you know, I think it's been a real personal journey, just because I've seen, like, I know what marriage looks like, or I should say, like, I've seen what I wanted my marriage to look like,
yeah.
but the way I'm wired, I needed more conversations to coincide with what I saw. So you know, like
And real life examples.
yeah, so I'll give you a perfect example. Like when we first got married, um um
Look at her.
one of my biggest struggles was, like, we were not where my parents were. You know, like, because my assumption was that you get, like, once you get married, you just kind of pick up where
And now you got a
where you got
crib
dropped off from your parents. And I'm like, yo, both of our parents got really nice houses and everything, and we in an apartment on 74th and South Shore.
And you was like, I didn't think it was gonna look like this.
And I mean, like, it
No.
was, and I mean, like, at that time, she was working. No, were you at the Marriott at that point?
No, I was at
You were at
Threshold.
Threshold. So she was the one that had the taxable income
Okay.
and the insurance, and I was making cash in hand, basically.
Because you was
And
trying
it
to get
was like,
everything you could, and she had the insurance and the paper stuff down.
yeah, like, I mean, for all intended purposes, like, she was the legit breadwinner.
Yeah.
Like, she had the primary income. When we were filing our taxes, she was the primary that would go on our taxes. So I'm just like, no, we're supposed to do it this way. And at the same time, she was trying to do the same thing based on what she saw. And it was this revelation that we had. We're like, our parents have been doing this for at least 25 years.
Right.
You know, like, we're trying to recreate what took them
Years.
at least 20 years to create. And so what that did was it created a desire to explore what marriages look like in the beginning for me. And so
And how to build that.
yeah, like,
yeah. You have to start at square one. You have to.
So one of the things that really sparked my interest for marriage was our pastor at Christ Bible. Real funny backstory, but long story short, the first time I heard Pastor Ford preach was a marriage sermon, and he was so profound I was almost offended, because
Hey, that's how you know when the sermon good.
no, not because I thought he was wrong necessarily, but because I've never heard marriage presented as this mutual yet independent oneness thing happening. You know what I mean? Like,
You've
like,
never heard of them simultaneously exist like that. Yeah.
You grew up in a church, so you know that traditionally churches are very male heavy.
Correct.
Um,
And I also dealt with a mom who's a minister, so we had to struggle with the visiting different
So
churches
then-
where she
so then
was
you
and
get-
wasn't allowed in the pulpit.
Right.
Exactly. So the idea that so we all know that the topic of submission is a very popular one in the church, But what blew me away was that he was like, we can't even talk about submission until we talk about leadership from a husband. That was my face. Was
That's
like,
a whole word.
oh, say word. And then
That's a whole word. That's a whole listen. Ooh, that's a whole word.
So
Hold on. I need to run that back for people. We can't talk about submission until we talk about leadership. Because if we submitting, we need to be led to something. You can't be leading me into the wilderness.
Hey, you can't follow a parked car.
That's a whole word. You done made me almost get up out my chair now.
Half a cheek on there.
So that's really what grabbed my attention. And Pastor Ford is like, that's his lane. Like, I mean, he can preach anything, but like you can see him really
his passion.
Yeah, you see him really spread his wings about marriage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and in every facet. So when we started dating, we were in premarital counseling. We started dating in February.
Okay.
And we were in premarital counseling by May of that year, that same year.
Oh, you didn't know that. Look at, pick up your mouth.
I'm sorry, woo! Okay, sorry, that.
And then on top of that,
wow,
we didn't finish counseling until the month after we got married. So it was like a total of like 13 months.
Let's do this.
And in that, like the way the counseling sessions were set up was that it was one session a month, but you had a book to read each month. And if you didn't finish the book,
we would have never made it.
You can't go forward.
We would have never made it. We would have still been.
Listen.
That's what he said when we started. He was like, I ain't read a book since high school.
Listen, but no. The last book before I started premarital counseling that I read from cover to cover, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. Before that.
Awkward silence. I wish there was sound effects where I could have put the cricket.
No, I'm dead serious. Like, me and reading, like, I just kind of fell out of love with reading once the Book It program went away. Like, if there was...
Once you stop getting pieces for it, you ain't want to read no more.
Yo, like there wasn't a real benefit to accelerated reader. So, like Book It, you get pizza. I like to eat. So hey, I'm with it. But
oh, y'all almost made me snort though. I'm sorry. But that's real though. That's real.
In that time frame, like the books that we've read, I mean, like this year we'll be married 9 years, and we still use that stuff. We still use everything that we learned at that point. And it's just like, it was so labor intensive and intentional that like marrying her was one of the most logical and unemotional decisions that I've ever made. Like when I tell you, I didn't have a butterfly moment until she walked down the aisle. Like,
oh wow.
When I was making the most level-headed decision ever in life.
Pause. Hold on that. I have a question about that.
Then what's your question?
Yes.
Let me ask Ashley this real quick. Ashley, you guys just talked about how it's in some people's measurement fast. It progressed. Would you change that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So when I came back home, so I was in Denver. I was in Denver when I returned home. I returned home in August of 2009. I got laid off.
Okay.
Everybody was optimizing. I worked for Marriott for almost 10 years. And so I came back home to help my mom with her catering business, and I went back to my home church. I went to school in Denver, so Denver was just normal. I graduated, I came home, worked at the Marriott downtown, went back to Denver, and then I came back home.
Of course.
Went back to my church and everything, and I think I can't remember the timeline, but he started showing up. David.
He was just everywhere.
He just started to show up. He was a new guy at the church. And at church, the new guys,
You know if they married.
Most of the guys is there. You like, no, I'm not. No, I don't like Theodore. I don't like Theodore. I don't like
Thaddeus is not
Rufus.
attractive.
I don't like.
Why did his name have to be Theodore and Thaddeus? Y'all are petty.
Thaddeus is not attractive.
No, no offense. I'm just saying that those names. Sorry, whoever's out there that's Thaddeus and
Thaddeus is watching somewhere like.
I know. Anyway, he started to show up, and people are like, "Man, that's David." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's David." And Prince was like, "Man, you should talk to David." I was like, "He talked too much." That was my initial.
I mean, I get it because I know.
Yeah,
I get it too.
He talked too much, and I wasn't into that, and so.
But it's not obnoxious. It's not annoying.
It was just too many words in too short of time. Like, it was just too much. And we really didn't start hanging out until our young adult fellowship, and that was in January of 2010. Yeah. That's when we really sat down and had a real conversation. We were going to young adult fellowships, and seeing each other and being cordial and saying hello, but that was it. And January 2010 is when we went on a retreat, and I beat the brakes off of him.
Wait a minute.
Playing dominoes.
Wait a minute.
Playing dominoes, and then it took off from there. What?
Okay.
It is what it is.
I love every couple has this where we're like, that's not really how it happened.
No. Okay, so it's
like the words.
It's a true statement. I'm not arguing that I lost, but the way she says it, it's like she she read me or something. Sometimes in dominoes, you just get a bad wash and you just can't recover.
Right. Okay.
But never mind. She took one of the biggest L's ever the first game we played.
I don't know what you're talking about.
See, I this was that wasn't even part of the story.
No, never mind. I took a shot. I'm petty.
You was like, I could, okay. Now let me ask you. While she's saying this, and I love it. And I'm comparing this, and I'm putting this into the same time and space as him saying this was the smartest, most logical decision for me to make. I'm looking like she's beautiful, she's smart, she got what I need. I mean,
well, that's the thing.
And I didn't unfold like that.
I didn't know that she had everything that I needed. So, she said, like Ashli said, we had real surface conversations, just kind of in passing. We never sat down and had a real conversation until we went on that retreat, and we were the only ones that wanted to play dominoes. And so we sat at the table, and I like to run my mouth. That's strategy. You know what I'm saying? if I can find a way in, it's over after that. You're not winning no more. But that's neither here nor there. But that's what ended up happening was she beat me so bad the third game that I felt obligated to redeem myself, to listen, that was a one-off. Yeah. I'm very, very competitive. And I don't like letting my kids beat me.
Come on.
No. They got to learn early how to take an L with grace.
So we played dominoes in January. And then when we left the retreat, he wanted to keep playing because he wanted to redeem himself. So every time our young adult would get together, they would find us somewhere playing dominoes. And then it went to, he was working not too far from my house, and he would come over and play dominoes. That was it. It was not, I like you, he might be cute. We just had a really good time playing dominoes.
So just a quick background. You actually came home in July. You came home in July because I came home in August. No. I take that back. I came home in July.
Yeah, I came
July
home in August.
31st. Like I was honorably discharged from the Marine
Okay.
Corps
Right.
July 31st of 2009. She came home
At the end of August,
at the end of
I
August.
went to
Of the same
convention.
year.
Yeah, the
Okay.
same year. So we came home basically a month apart.
Now I want to ask you both this separately, and then we're going to pivot to the pandemic separately. Okay. When it comes to the marriage, is there anything that you would change?
That you would change?
Yeah.
No.
This is gonna sound weird.
No, it's not, because I know.
No. This is gonna sound weird. I wish I was a virgin.
But that doesn't sound weird. That means that you have that level of love and respect,
like
that you wanted to bring more to the table.
So you know how I was saying before, like I wish I would have had like some better explanations to go with the examples that I saw. Like if I would have known what was in store for me on this side of marriage, I would have definitely waited.
That's
like no question.
That's heavy. And I'm really asking, and I'm digging in here, and we're going to jump to the pandemic in a minute, I promise. But I'm really digging in here because I love the opportunity to talk to a solid Black couple. You know what I mean? And shout out to the Colemans too, who is another example.
Hey, they the people.
They are another example of like the solid Black couple. You know what I mean? So when I get you guys and we're able to talk and I'm able to say, what is it that I want you guys to impart to the world? I'm sorry, I keep digging in here before the pandemic. But before we go, we're going to switch to the pandemic. I got one more question for the both of you. Separately again, when did you know he was the one?
So it was the night of our first date.
Our only date.
Like, yeah. Well, like
so we was broke.
Yeah. I got laid off.
I got discharged, but I was unemployed.
And she just came back too.
And she just came back. So
I was on unemployment.
We weren't trying to impress nobody. Like we both had successful careers and all that whole like I got to show you what I can do. Like that really didn't matter. Yeah. Because it was expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard it ever so clearly that night after he dropped me off. I called my two girlfriends, Shanika and Shalia, and was like, oh my gosh, I had the most amazing time. And I know that he's the one. And we boo-hooed and cried, and then we hung up.
And then went on with life.
And then we went to church. And then we went to church the next morning, and we went to breakfast. And David was like, did you say I need to talk to you? Yeah. He was like, hey, I need to talk to you before we get to the restaurant. And I was like, okay. And he got in the car and he was like, look, I just want you to know, like, God told me that you was my wife. And so I don't want to play around.
No, it was very church corny. Like God sent you to me, and I'm not saying we get married right now, but I just gotta let you know what I know.
He sent you, so like,
I just gotta let you know what I know that's got to happen.
Yeah, but we both got that answer the same night,
at the same time, separately. That's epic.
Yeah.
What did that look like?
That's how God works. That's how God works. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. What did that look like for you after that first date? Is she home and she calling her girls and I think I found out what and all that stuff. What did that look for you to where by that next day you were like, look, we got to talk?
So we were driving home. Yeah.
She's so funny.
Well, she knows me. I can go.
Her listeners are wanting to hear pandemic information.
So we were driving home, and we were sitting outside of her house talking, and I just kind of had this. I'm trying to figure out how to describe it. It was kind of like, And I was like, no, that's not what that meant. And I just kind of sat on it, and I was like, listen, I'm not gonna keep you, like, word on the street is your dad is crazy,
And
and
I
I
don't want
don't
no
need.
problem.
Exactly. So look, we here. There was no set, evening time, but I'm not trying to cause no
Not
smoke
even finna
on the
push
first
it.
rip.
Get out my truck so I don't get killed.
Yeah, like listen,
So he
I'm
see you get out and you go in the house and let me see you go in where he see you.
yeah,
Mind you, we're 26.
yeah,
It don't
but
matter.
26, yeah.
Yeah.
We just had a whole foundational conversation about us
Yeah.
being in Black church families. It didn't
yeah,
matter.
like I don't need them kind of problems. So, so after she got out the car, I was just like, Lord, what is this? Like, it's like I'm not understanding what this inclination is, and you I just got in prayer about it, and I woke up the next day and was like, nah, this is it, Jack. Like, there's no, there's no going,
That's
there's no
so
going back.
Chicago.
Like, we could talk about all the background, but it was just like,
You just
no, my
knew.
mind's made up. I called my cousin. I was like, I don't know how this gonna work, but I'm marrying Ashley. He was like, yo, that's what's up.
Mhm.
And that was,
And that was that.
yeah,
That's it's organic.
yeah, I mean, like,
It's
it
organic.
was very, very natural. It wasn't forced.
Forced.
It
That's
was just like, it was just like, it just
it
happened.
fit.
Like,
It
I
was meant to
wasn't
happen. It just
I wasn't I wasn't looking to get married. As a matter of fact,
I wasn't either.
I had recently made the decision that I'm like, I'm off the dating scene. I'm not dating. I'm
well, that's
trying to get
when you find the one.
refocused and recentered, like all that, like, I'm trying to, like, make myself better. So,
Yeah.
like, not even,
Thinking about that.
yeah, like, that wasn't even in my perspective.
Yeah.
So when it happened, I was just like, no, this is not the game plan. Like, this doesn't happen this quickly. Like,
Yeah.
like, you get
That's not what the
stuff.
outline looks like.
Right. So, I mean, but it was just like, okay, Lord, we're gonna ride this thing out, see what happens. And
it
I mean, like,
took
you got two unemployed people, you got a lot of time to play dominoes.
Right. We
Get
did.
out
No,
my
listen,
face.
Every
no,
day
listen. We played dominoes
for 3 months straight.
literally every day.
Because it was free.
It was free.
It was free.
And I was working with my cousin doing construction in Cal City, which is like literally 5 minutes from where she was at.
Oh
And,
yeah. So
and I was getting
Going to
back into school at Prairie State. So her house is on the way to school. And I don't
look
have
at God.
so listen.
2-hour window.
So I would get off work at 4:30. Class didn't start till 7:30. I would get done with work. We'd play dominoes for an hour and a half, and then I'd get back on the road and go to class.
Go to class.
That's why it was fast.
That's why it was fast.
I want to pull from this. We're going to start pivoting and talking about the pandemic, but I want people to pull something from this. And I've heard this said time and time again. The people who are seeking this, you know what I mean? Seeking marriage, seeking something solid. I've heard from so many people, the minute you stop seeking is the minute it's delivered to you. It's organic. You don't have to look for it. You don't have to, it's just going to fall in your lap and it's going to be like, well.
Well, I think what's important is that, as believers, our number one goal or our number one driving force is our service to the Lord.
Right.
So my focus is to please God in my service, not find a wife. So if my ministry requires a mate to help shape me into what I ultimately need to be,
Should be right.
fulfilling my ministry is going to bring me alongside of the person that's going to help me get to where I'm ultimately
Where you're
supposed to
supposed
be.
to. Because
So
it's not gonna
the
fit together.
whole like, if we are both focused on the light and we're walking towards the light, it doesn't matter where you start from. If you stay focused and start moving towards the light, eventually you're gonna look around and be like, whoa, where'd she come from?
Yeah.
You know,
That's how
like,
it was for him.
and that's just what it is.
I
Yeah.
said, God, he gonna have to hit me with his car. You gonna have to drop on his head for me to
Because
talk to
I'm not about
anybody.
to go.
Because I was tired. I had given my heart to too many people.
Yeah, yeah.
Brought this
And-
yellow
yeah.
man
Yeah,
came out of
he
nowhere.
wasn't even my
Not
type.
even look. That's the funny part. We're not even each other's type.
But I'm crazy about this man. Like,
That's
Yeah,
but that's
listen.
God. Because see, a lot of times it's funny that you guys said that because I'm gonna say this and then we're gonna pivot. But like I'm in one of these groups, it's called like 30 and up doing us or whatever. We were talking about physical attraction and stuff. When it's love,
It is what it
whatever
is.
they look like is what you love.
Man, look. I understand the Bobby and Whitney relationship because I'm not even on her level. So like it makes sense. Like when you love somebody,
close the door.
you
I
just
needed you to really finish that up because comparing y'all to Bobby and Whitney, I needed you to really
no, because I ain't got no sense. And I wrestle why she still deal with me.
I'm not about to deal with you. Now listen, let's hop into this because we done gave them a whole lot about relationships, but I want to touch on the pandemic.
Close
Sure.
the door, please, baby.
Now, I want to set the standard for people, right? We already established this, but there may be some people tuning in later. So we're married. We have 6 little ones, 14, 7, 2, 6, and 2, 3 will be 4 at midnight tonight.
Yes.
I can only imagine that whatever anxiety that the average person felt, right? Like a person like me feeling anxiety. I'm not married, I divorced, I have no kids, I have no pets. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can only imagine that the anxiety that I felt was multiplied times at least minimum 6 with you all.
I wouldn't say that. I would not say that. But
at what point did you guys take the pandemic seriously? At what point did you guys really say, okay, baby, this is for real. We got to sit down, strategize. We got to
out the door, out the gate, when they started talking about it, we didn't take light of it at all. We were like, okay, so all right, I need to go to the grocery store. We need a deep freezer. Like I worked for Marriott for many years, and so crisis management is something that I deal with. I was manager on duty, so if there was a fire, I had to react fast, and so that just comes naturally for me, and I'm always thinking ahead. So and when everything started to turn, we were on board, and then we were like, okay, what about our friends? Okay, let's send a text message out and see, does everybody have what they need? Does everybody have the resources or the means to get what they need to? So yeah, we initially just right away.
Did you guys have friends when you reached out to them? Did you have friends that were not taking it as seriously as you?
I'm not sure. We didn't. I don't think that I'm not sure.
I don't think anybody that we personally interact with. I don't think anybody, not that I know of, didn't take it seriously.
Yeah.
Like I can't think of anybody that I had to convince or try to find the back door to reasoning with them to take this seriously. Like everybody, I think there were different levels of understanding. And like with that, you don't want to scare people into acting irrationally.
Right.
But like
that's
I
why
think
the toilet paper is gone.
Yeah, like I think for us, it was just like because we care about our inner circle of people and those that we interact with, was like, for us, this is serious. So we just trying to see where the needs, like, are there holes? Like,
In the
I
community
remember,
we
I
love.
remember, it's funny, like we sent out a text message. We were like, yo, if they say 30 days, can you go 30 days?
Without leaving the
Without
house.
leaving the house. Like, just not to scare, but like, like this is life right now. Like, there could come a time where you can't leave the house without some type of, airtight mask, because the air is contaminated. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. This is
and
real.
it sounds, kind of Resident Evilish, but it's like,
But it's real.
but it's real. And I don't like having to contemplate it, but I just don't want to be caught thinking that it wouldn't happen and now we got nothing.
And then you were not prepared because you
Yeah.
didn't take it seriously. I'd rather you be over prepared,
Right.
have
And the
more
good
than you
news,
need, and just say it's gonna take us a long time to eat all this or
like,
whatever.
listen, so when this whole thing started and like conversations about the coronavirus being a legit problem in America, I went to Menards and bought, the little the N95 painter mask. Like, back, a
Back
few
when they
months
were still
ago,
there.
where I got a stack of 10 for like, I don't know, like $4 or $5. And they were just painter's masks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was the name. They were just painter's masks. And I just put them in the truck and left them alone. Didn't, like, no big deal. And then I remember showing up to work wearing one. I remember getting clowned
For having a mask
for
on.
wearing a mask, because they were talking about social distancing and the positive test numbers going up. And mind you, this was back when only old people
We're
could
supposed to
catch
be
the
able to.
virus.
March 13th, right?
Yeah.
March 13th, March 14th.
So it was like, and then what's bad is that I was at a warehouse today, and I had a conversation with the guy who couldn't understand why I was wearing a mask, because it's not
And
real.
it's April 23rd at this point.
Yeah.
No,
And
people
you
really
had how
believe
many
this
deaths?
is. People really believe this is. We're not going to talk about it.
No, we are gonna. So that's what we're here for. We're gonna get there.
I'm mad. I'm mad right now because I really can't take some of the 5G conspiracy theories. Like, I think there are legit 5G radiation issues.
Mhm.
However, having said that, I don't think 5G is the underbelly
Of
of
this.
what COVID-19 is. Like, guys,
I just
no.
think that that's a reach. I think that I don't think that there's anything in regards to the 5G. I don't think that there's anything so miraculously different with 5G that it will create such a health issue within us from 4G and 3G. And you understand, like
But I feel like even if that were true, that doesn't make the coronavirus
any less
not real. Yeah, look,
yeah.
it can be just as dangerous, it can be just as harmful, create a myriad of symptoms. I'm not here to negate that.
Yeah.
My problem are these people who are being very, very loud and annoying, saying that the coronavirus is a cover for fight. Like, just I
Well,
don't
listen,
have it.
me and you, and me, the three of us actually have mutual friends on Facebook that I think we've all probably snoozed for 30 days. That is just, I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna leave that there because I want to dig in. But I want to dig in two places, okay? I want to talk about one, homeschooling, and I want to dig in with that, Ashley, with you.
Okay.
And then I want to talk about the fact that not only are we homeschooling the kids, we have an essential worker as well.
Absolutely.
Where David has to leave and come back home every day. I want to talk to both of you about that. I want to talk to you, Ashley, in regards to the homeschooling. I know before this came on, you guys were telling me that you guys are shifting your homeschooling a little bit, and you're going to be doing some night homeschooling so that she could have some help.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want to talk to you about that.
So initially when, it was announced March 13th that school was going to be out, it was fine. The kids were really excited. They were enthusiastic. They were like,
I'm
Mommy's
sure
going
they
to
were.
teach us. Mommy's going to teach us. Mommy, you going to teach us? I'm like, yeah, I've been teaching you all your life. How you think you put your clothes on? They had forgotten. No, really, our children they forget, like your main teacher, your teacher you go to school to see, that's not your main teacher.
Yeah.
We your main teacher.
Yeah.
But the first 2 to 3 weeks, for the older, just adjusting, like Kirsten, she has a lot of material that's on Google Drive, and so
That's
learning
the
how to
14-year-old, right?
yeah, she's
Okay.
a freshman in high school, so just learning how to pull her stuff off and make sure she doesn't miss anything. So that was that week. It was just a week of time trying to adjust. The kids were fine with their assignments that they had sent. Their assignments have been very basic, just continuing what they've learned already. But I feel like week 3, week 4, the kids are tired of being in the house, and they are showing it in different ways. And so, yes.
Unpack it.
Yeah, well, I mean, just, not listening,
Because
not
you have
wanting
a range of ages too.
Exactly. So everyone has, remote learning to do, from the high schooler to the first grader to the kindergarten and the preschooler. And then everyone has Zoom calls, mind you. Everybody has Zoom
No
calls.
wonder this Zoom was so easy to connect today.
Oh, but we used to use Zoom call with our other business. So we've been on Zoom for a long time. But everybody has Zoom calls. And so just trying to manage their schedules and trying to make sure that they check in when they're supposed to, turn in homework. And kids are kids, they want to see their friends. They're experiencing what we're experiencing, but not able to put it into words. So they're missing their grandparents. My my parents, my in-laws, they all help. We have a really good village. And so we've done life on life all their life. And so this is the first time that we have been away from them for this long. And mind you, at the end of February, we moved into our new house. Previous to being in our own house, we lived with my parents. So they're used to being with their grandparents
all the time. And it went from one extreme to the other.
Exactly. So we're kind of seeing that happen. It's not extreme, but it's a lot to deal with 6 different personalities. And I posted yesterday.
I was about to ask you about it. So go ahead and talk about it.
So first of all, I didn't have my quiet time. So I did not have any time to myself because I was so tired. I'm tired because when you're at home, you have no time. You're trying to feed everybody 3 times a day or 16 times a day. You're trying to keep
and then you now a teacher too, and you got to do
teaching.
The clean.
I'm trying to make sure the house ain't filthy, but it's eggs in this mug. Trying to manage everything. You're exhausted, and there's no time to yourself. No time, because where am I gonna go? Yeah, I can go walk around the block, but I'm tired. I don't even want to walk around the block.
You don't want to walk around the block.
So yesterday it was just a lot. They just didn't want to focus. I have to keep telling them, and my anxiety was extremely high, and I was angry because I was like, these little suckers ain't listening.
And
I love them.
Yeah, for the people who are not aware of what we're talking about, because we're real life guys. These are my real life Facebook friends, like real life. So, like, for the people who are not aware of what
close the door, please, or you will go to bed.
I love it. These are
close the door, or you will go to bed.
We try to do something nice for them and let them stay up.
Y'all are about to be sound bites. You don't even know. But for the people who don't know, you posted a post and it was like, I don't need your pity. I don't need none of that. I just need you to pray, because right now I'm angry and I'm overwhelmed. And that's just what it is. And I'm dealing with a whole lot of personalities. I'm dealing with a whole lot, and I'm stressed.
Yeah, well, it's so new for everybody. So your kids are going through it, you're going through it. It's a lot. And those emotions, I feel like they're valid. But
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
can't stay there though. You
Yeah.
can't stay there. So I called David. I was like, baby, I'm so sad. They not listening. I don't care about this homework. I don't want my boys to not be able to read. Like I'm thinking about stuff like that because they're kindergarten.
Yeah.
I want them to thrive in reading. They were doing very well, and now we're out of the
normal
routine.
Exactly.
And so I'm concerned about that.
What you need?
And then David was like,
Okay.
I was thinking, babe, maybe we should flip flop and let's do school in the evening. And I was like, that's amazing. Yes, let's do that because
I didn't know you love me so much.
So there has been a few days that David has been sent home because he had no work, right?
Okay.
So he's come home early, and just to have another adult and someone else that could bounce things off. I have preschoolers, the girls are 3 years old. I can't leave them to themselves. I have to actually be engaged. And then in order to work with the boys with reading, I have to be engaged. And everybody wants.
And that leaves the older ones to be like, now wait a minute, where are you? Because I'm not. Now I have to make sure I'm counting for you during this time that I'm paying the little ones close attention.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just balancing it. This week kind of it hit the head. I think it hit the peak, but I'm excited about the new schedule. We'll probably just start on Monday, but to just in our time of schooling is just an hour and a half. It's not even long. I mean, the oldest, she works all day.
Yeah, she's doing on her own though.
Listen,
she has to be up. She has to check in at 9, and then she has a block schedule, so it's about 3 to 4 subjects every other day. And so some things have to be due by 4, and some things have to be done by midnight. And so just helping her, like,
well, let's get her ready for college.
I know.
I was up last night till 11.
Yeah, checking
algebra.
Well, welcome to parent.
But I think
I didn't know it was gonna be like this.
Right? She's like, I wasn't ready. But let me ask you as we pivot, because I want to talk about that important part, but I want to also talk about Dave, you being an essential worker.
Okay.
I want to start with Ashli, and I want you to tell me how you feel as a wife. What is that? Do you have an inordinate amount of worry? Do you not have space to even think about it and worry? Like, how does that affect you being the pillar at the house?
So my faith is strong that he will protect my husband. That has always been the case. I have seen God do miraculous things. And so for him to leave the house every day, I don't think I ever had a concern or worry to an extreme amount. I think I was just like, babe, do you got gloves? Do you have your mask? All right, so we at the point now, babe, like you gotta take off all your clothes in the garage. Your robe will be, tell me when you get here, you'll have a warm robe. It'll sit there. You drop all those clothes in the basket. Mm-hmm. It'll stay out there until we wash them, just making sure that there's precautions. And then also saying, hey, babe, you can't touch, hug, kiss, none of us until you take a shower. And I mean, I think that's the same with other essential workers, and especially the healthcare professionals. That's what they've been doing. And so that's the route that we've taken. But like he said, people laughed at him at his job, and we're not going to badmouth any companies or anything, but it's really sad to see how there are some companies that have not taken this serious and have not provided the protective equipment for those essential workers. There are really a lot of companies out here that are not doing that, and it's sad, and it translates to the associates. Know that
it shows how they feel about us. And
I think,
and then you have to deal with that and still go to work.
You can't unknow it. You can't unfeel it. You can't unknow it.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So that's rough. Now, David, let me talk to you as an essential worker.
Okay.
as somebody that has to leave the crib every day. I want to know, not necessarily fully are you worried about you because you're a man of faith. Okay. And I
Uh-huh.
get that, just like Ashley. How are you in regards to that transition of coming back home? What responsibility do you feel? Do you have, like, how do you feel in regards to that when it's that time to come back home and you're transitioning from outside to inside?
You
What is,
know, I don't. That's actually a really good question. For me, I don't really spend a lot of time taking that in. It's kind of like this is just what has to be done. Like Kirsten, it has asthma, so
yeah,
the whole I don't have the luxury of just kind of moseying in
being
and
lackadaisical.
and yeah, like like so when this thing like got serious, Ashley was like, "Hey, um, you need to start getting undressed in the garage," and I was like, "In my house? Like, um, huh?"
And I was
And,
like, babe,
and
I was
but
like, babe, like,
it was it
The
not
first
not that it
response
was,
though was like,
but it wasn't. She didn't say it disrespect, but it's just I never thought in all my life that
yeah,
an honest conversation about taking your clothes off in the
in the
garage
garage.
was necessary.
Yeah.
So it's
Don't
just like
touch me, don't kiss me, don't greet me until, for
so
real. That's
so
real.
since Ashley has been home,
Hmm.
and we're coming up what 6 7 years since you've been home.
yeah, 6 years.
So since that time, when I come through the door, it is like go time. Like the kids will abandon whatever is going on
Daddy's
and they will
Daddy's
bum rush the door. Like
screaming. It's the attack.
my feelings have low key been hurt when the kids are sitting on the couch like,
Oh, what's up?
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
be like,
but when it first started happening, having to tell the kids like, stop, don't touch
I
me.
can't, yeah.
Like I have to get in the
Oh
shower first.
God.
Like it's
But
just
that's
different.
heartbreaking.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean,
And they
like
don't
They
understand,
did.
they young. What do you mean stop, daddy?
Right.
so you got that and being in a new neighborhood, meeting kids, and I never thought I'd have to tell my kids, don't
Six
what
feet.
like stay away from other
Can't meet the new
kids.
friends.
Yeah, like you can say hello from the driveway, but as you see other people on the sidewalk, you have to ride your bike on the other side of the street, and you will get in trouble if you don't listen.
Can y'all imagine having those things placed on us as children?
Like
Like,
I just, and
That's what I'm telling
and
you.
that's what we were talking about. It's just like, and then there's gonna come a time where they're gonna have to unlearn that.
yeah. And it's
Like
okay to engage with people, but for so many amount of time of my formative years, especially for these younger ones, you taught me not to engage.
You told me to get 6 feet.
You
like
told me don't interact. 6 feet,
so
no pressure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like that's I haven't, like I said, I haven't really given it thought, but it's just the idea, especially how we grew up in Matson, like
Yeah.
with the stuff that we got to do. I understand it's a different day and age,
We didn't realize
but
how good we had it.
oh, listen, it
We
just
lived in a bubble, in a utopia.
it it
That,
it, it, a unicorn community,
seriously.
legit. So
Seriously.
like I get that. So it's not so much that, it's just like I don't know if you can be prepared for having to tell your kids the stuff that we have to share. It's like, and granted, we're not like scared about it. We're not, helicopter parents about it. It's just like, guys, this is just what we have to do.
These are
It
just the
doesn't
rules.
mean like it's okay to want to meet people, but right now we don't want to get anybody sick, and we don't want to bring any
Anybody else
cooties
to
home.
us or
You know what I
anybody
mean? And
who
so
needs it.
I think they get it, but at 6 and 7, there's only so much you can get your head around.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, we just have the conversations as they come. And like Ashley said, like it is very apparent that they are over being in the house. And you know,
They're making it abundantly clear.
I mean, like but you know,
It's understandable.
is-
I'm tired of being in the house. Like
I was just about to say, and I'm grown.
yeah, and
I'm
look,
grown
and
and
I
I
go to
don't
the
play
grocery
in the
store.
car. And I'm like, I literally, y'all, this is no joke. I literally drove to the gas station today just to drive. I didn't get out the car. I didn't buy nothing. I just was like, if I drive to the gas station, ain't nobody gonna mess with me and ask me nothing. It's essential. You know what I mean? I get
Last week we took a ride downtown so they can take their tablets and take pictures of the buildings because we need to just get out the house, and it was the best trip. Now,
Yeah.
look at that! Look at that! I'm like, yeah, look at that!
Take
I
them
was
down
just
Lakeshore
driving.
Drive. Yeah, that's
I
a
had
whole
my
drive.
earbuds in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get
So-
creative.
But you got to get creative. Now, I want to talk to you guys about, and that's perfect that you said that because this is the perfect segue. I want to talk to you guys about how you're making lemonade out of these lemons we have right now. What are you guys doing to try to make the best of the situation or try to, I mean, look, now I'm talking to church folks, so I can say, you know, that the devil meant it for bad, but God meant it for my good. What?
Yeah.
How are you guys making the best of this?
I think we just try to. I think we're very intentional about giving each other space to not be okay. You know, like there's no pretending that every day is a good day.
Yeah.
Like what was it? I think it was last Sunday. My son had a breakdown on the stairs. He was like, I don't want to be around nobody, Daddy. He's 6. He's like, I'm tired of
He
being
don't even
around.
know how to identify these feelings, but
he said it. Though.
No, that's what he told me. He's like, Daddy, I'm tired of being around my brothers and sisters. I want to be alone. I said, well, get in the shower, go put your PJs on. And you can take your tablet and go sit in your room. And he was like, thank you. And he just went upstairs and finished crying. I was like,
what are you saying? Like, how do you
like, so, you know, like we try to, I mean, I think for us, even though, you know, like it's hard on us because we're older and we understand, it's just like, we just gotta bite the bullet and try to make this as fun as possible.
Yeah.
Like we got kites, these little $4 kites. And when I tell you, look, she was like, hey, you want to take the kids to the park by yourself and go fly these kites while I sit in the house by myself and decompress? And I was like, sure, I'll go do it. No problem. Yes, dear, I'll go. And, you know, and it would like, I had to set the kites up, tie the string on the kite, put the little balance ribbon at the bottom, because I found out that's very important for these little raggedy kites.
You got to put them together right, or they not.
All the while, I got baby pigeons in the back of the truck. So one of the things about having a big family is that there is an undiscussed competition to be heard.
Yes.
So and it makes sense because
it makes
you got something to say, but if you're not loud, you don't get heard. So what's interesting,
because there's 5 other of me.
Right. So what's interesting is that each one of them has developed their own way of being heard over everybody else. Like Kirsten is the biggest, so she will position herself in front to say what she needs to say. Caden and Caleb, they're just loud.
Yeah.
Like they can outshout everybody.
Yeah.
Gabby will double talk. Daddy, 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 daddy. Abby's a whiner, you know, like, but like they all have, so in the back of the truck while I'm putting these kites together, I have all these personalities wanting to go out and fly these kites.
All day. That's what I get all day. He had it for.
He like, listen, I ain't got
So
no
listen,
time for
so I'm glad you bring that up. Now, I'm not saying my job is harder by no stretch. I'm just saying that it requires a different set of muscles to switch gears from dealing with kids that you birth and dealing with kids that you work with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those grown kids.
Those grown children that you call coworkers?
Yes.
But kites,
so
bikes.
So usually when I come home, I get to do what they consider to be fun. We go ride bikes, we'll go for walks. And it's stressful for me because I don't have time to unplug and
unwind
and kind of switch gears.
Yeah.
Because I understand
that you're trying to relieve her.
Yeah, like trying to relieve her. And I know they're ready to go outside.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but I've been outside all day. I'm tired of being outside.
There's something really important that I want other couples watching this to pull from this. There was something you said a few minutes ago, and I see that thread throughout you guys' relationship is there is a very intentional compassion that you guys have for the other person, you know? And I think that that is so important because you guys operate in a sense of, and this is essential to a successful marriage and any successful relationship, quite frankly, you operate in a sense of it's just not about me.
Absolutely.
How can we shift this? How can, if I got to sacrifice, if I got to do this, even in saying and understanding just the basic logic of, I need some couples to regurgitate what you said as far as understanding that every day they're not going to be okay every day. Every day is not going to be a good day. You have to allow for people to be human. And I think that in so many relationships, not even just marriages, in dating relationships and friendships and business relationships, we're all humans.
Sure.
And you guys are a prime example of what compassion in a relationship looks like. And I want to commend you for that.
Oh, thank you.
Intentional compassion. I want to commend you guys for that.
Yeah.
Well, our first set of twins
made us this way.
Kind of forced us into that. Because I mean, you know, when you have a child, you can really accidentally do well.
You can still be selfish.
Yeah, you can figure it out.
Like you can fumble your way into raising a great child. And I say that not in like being unintelligent, or, you know, like you're just incompetent, but the level of intentionality that's required to navigate twins is a completely different animal. And then on top of that, Gracie is 11 months older than the boys.
Yeah.
So when the boys were born, 32 days later, or I'm sorry, 32 days later, no, 28 days later, 28 days later, Gracie has her first birthday. So for Gracie,
y'all ain't went to sleep in 14 years.
So it's interesting you say that. So quarantine life for us is not a foreign concept because we've only been able to go out the last 2 years. So prior to the girls being potty trained, Abby and Gabby being potty trained, we stayed at home. Like we had to tell people no, we couldn't go to parties
because we had no money.
Too much.
Like
we had no money.
Like we were spending Beyonce tickets
diapers
at the Ticketmaster booth the day of the concert in diapers.
Shout out to our old classmate Nicole, who posted today that her last baby got off his diapers and they got no more diapers in the crib.
So wonderful.
Listen, we bought diapers for 6 years straight. No pause. No
we had
pause.
help. We did have help.
No,
because we decided to have diaper parties instead of baby showers. Because
okay, don't bring me nothing but diapers.
No. when the girls were
I don't
born,
need no clothes.
it
We ain't
was
going nowhere.
it was legit. The more diapers you bring to the baby shower, the more entries you get to win
a hotel
stay. Free game.
I was like, all right, we finna add
So
strategy
with
to
the
this.
girls, we went 7 months before we had to buy a single diaper.
Wow, that's God.
Listen.
That's God. Now they're potty trained, right? Y'all diaper free now, right?
Oh, we've been we've been diaper free for 2 years.
Yeah, it's about 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 years.
A year and a half.
No, about a year and a half.
Okay.
So for like the last year and a half, we've had freedom. But like as far as mommy and daddy being able to do husband and wife things, there wasn't that. Like there was a time where Valentine's Day was go down in the basement and throw a heart-shaped sheet over the couch, and that's romantic.
Yeah.
Because
that's what the reality was. Yeah.
Yeah, like fun was turning on Netflix and falling asleep on the couch.
Well, that's still fun.
It is, but I mean, like when you are immersed in arguably the suckiest part of parenting. And I think that's one of the things that we've been very transparent in communicating is that it is okay to feel like you're failing, to hate life. Like
not really.
No, like
but it's
this
okay
this is how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's such a stigma, especially among women as mothers. That first year, I watched the pressure that was applied internally as well as externally on how she parented. And we're not even talking about like comparing what people post and all this. It's just there is this unwritten rule that your kids are supposed to operate a certain way. And you know, like all of our elders talking about enjoy it now. I'm like, listen, tell me to enjoy it one more time.
Say it again.
Like, you know, like I get the sentiment behind what they're saying, like because it really does move fast. Like we're just sitting there talking about but like when you're sleeping 2 hours before the both of you have to get up to breastfeed 2 hungry boys because she's only 5'2", so she can't carry them both and feed them at the same time. So we're both getting up every 2 hours and you're brewing your coffee with Red Bull just to get to work. Don't tell me to enjoy this while it lasts. I literally have 5 memories of 2014.
I want to pull this out too for the people that are listening and commend you. I need you to understand you didn't have to get up with her. That's part of what makes you guys an example couple. You understand what I'm saying? And I need you to understand that you guys have mastered working together.
We still working on it, but I'm saying no. Like
y'all not both about to laugh right
there. Thank you. But, no, because I mean, like we're still working. I just learned something about her today.
Is it shareable?
You're always learning. You're always changing.
Say again?
I said, is it shareable?
Oh, look, he just found out the guy before him's name this year, like last month.
Why he matter?
But I'm saying those are like little things you learn stuff over.
Just little stuff. Like I mean, like our previous pastor, Pastor Ford, you know, he made the analogy. Like my job, I am a forever student at the University of Ashli. Like I'm always matriculating, you know, like sometimes I fail the pop quizzes and sometimes I'll be looking for the extra credit, but you know, I'm forever learning and never graduating. Like we've been married, this year be 9 years, and I've met at least 10 different versions of her. And I say that not like she's crazy.
Not in a bad, yeah, no, I
but
get it,
like
I get it, yeah.
the Ashley that I dated is different from the Ashley that
Ashley
was
that's-
engaged. The
Yeah.
one that's
Who is
married, the
different
one
than the
that's
Ashley
married,
sit next
that's
to you.
pregnant,
Yeah.
the one that's married and pregnant with 2 babies and got one on the outside. And it like, so there's
Yeah.
always, you know, like she just
The
had a major
evolution, there's
surgery this year. And so she's different from that.
Yeah.
And so that's part of the pursuit as husbands, is to always be learning, because it's just like the moment you start to treat her based on what you know she
Or thought
is,
you knew.
you start failing.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know, we bump heads. We're both very headstrong, take charge. I can do this on my own
Mhm.
people.
Yeah.
You know, like
Individually.
I don't worry about her being able to do stuff. I mean, like
She
I
do
can
it for
I can
you.
I can legitimately count on one hand the things that she probably can't do right now. But if situations dictated, I'm not worried about her being able to get stuff done.
Yeah.
So the idea that she's dependent on me that's never been attractive to me.
Right.
Like that wasn't the things that, like, her ability to not really need me, but deciding to
want
rely
you.
on me
Yeah, and to
is
trust you.
what draws me and what compels me to do, because I know that if I go long enough without doing it, she'll just do it on her own.
Listen, girl, listen. That be our saying. Our thing be like, I'm only gonna ask you so many times, and then I'm not gonna ask you again. I'm just going to do it.
Listen,
That's how we. So, and you've learned that lesson. I'm so
I
glad.
don't nag. I
Listen.
don't nag.
she does it all the time. Like, I don't want to come off as a nag, and I'm just like, listen, you've never nagged. It's just like,
When I ask the second time, I feel like a nag.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
second time.
but I
And if
but
I
I
don't
But then
honestly,
the second
I'm not
time, he
gonna
gonna knock me over to go do it
But-
before I do it.
but that's because, like, it's legitimately impossible for a wife to nag her husband if you do it.
No,
I'm not
wait,
trying to
stop.
Cricket.
Hold on.
like I'm
No,
not trying to gain
No,
points.
No,
That's
no,
just real.
fellas, no, I'm a mutual. No,
That's
stop.
just
No, hold
real.
on.
I don't
Message,
have
everybody.
sympathy.
Message. We can't nag you if you just do it. And I had to look directly in the camera. It's
But it's
nothing to nag
real.
about.
Like it is literally, it is
That's a word.
impossible to nag, because nagging is nothing more than being tired of saying the same thing
Same
over
thing
and over.
over and over.
How can you say the same thing over and over if it's done?
You preaching.
I'm just
don't
exercising
even
common
know.
sense. I'm just so I.
Well,
I
you know,
figured this-
common sense ain't common now.
but I
You
mean,
know, common sense ain't common
it's an
now.
exercise in sound logic.
That sounds better.
So
That ain't common either.
I again, like, I'm very linear in my thinking. So let me rephrase. I'm terrible at multitasking. So yeah, amen. So
The aggressive head.
often I've completely abandoned trying to multitask,
Yeah.
because
You
I
gotta
end up
focus on this and get that done.
doing everything horribly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I've learned to do is, and again, this is just learning, it's just like, if I'm doing something that I need to get done, I need to articulate to her that, number one, I heard her, and then, hey, is this important? Should I stop what I'm doing now?
Or can I do
Or
this after?
or can I finish doing, said activity,
Mhm.
and then, can I do it then? And then that's cut out a lot of
And I
stuff.
tell y'all, I really want a whole lot of Black couples to run this back. Y'all drop some gems for real.
Jim.
Y'all drop some gems. Like, capital Jim for the first one and lowercase for the second one. Now, I'm about to let y'all go. Okay? But I got one more part that I want to talk to y'all about, and I've never done this on another show because this is just for you guys.
Fair.
Okay.
If you guys had a show, what would you talk about?
Ooh.
You see the petty of the pinky up when I did it because I knew it was petty. I put my pinky up and
I don't respect the pinky. No, I'm just.
My wife's a Delta.
I know that's the only thing. That's the only place you messed up.
What?
I beg to differ.
Oh my gosh.
'Cause
Oh, that's why all your stuff is green and oh Lord.
How do you not know? How did you not put it together?
I don't know.
was
Please,
pink
I thought I liked you.
That's why she gonna get off the phone like, I really liked her, man.
I'm going to bed. Everybody go to bed. I'm through.
Nah, much love. Much
No.
love.
It's all love.
To
I
the
think
cake.
if we were to do a show, it would just be about marriage. Like
family.
Yeah, like having a family is amazing. Being married is insanely dope. Like I
With
really
the right
can't.
person, doing it the right way.
Yeah, I mean, like I've learned that people don't like to be told what they should do because they've done it differently and it's worked, or they just don't like the instruction. But at the same time, it's just like, hey, listen, this is what we're doing and it's working. If you want to
So
take
I'm not
it,
telling you to do
yeah,
it.
like I'm not trying to push nothing on you. I'm just giving you a perspective.
This
And
is how
I
this
think
operates over here.
I
And it
think
works.
I've developed. Huh?
I didn't hear what she said.
Oh, what'd you say, Kim?
I said this is how it operates over here, and it works well.
Yeah, and like, yo, I don't think there's one right way to do anything.
Yeah.
So hearing different perspectives, I think is important, and that also means being able to disagree well when perspectives don't necessarily coincide. Like you can just think that that's wrong, and that's fine. Like I'm not going to think of you any less if you believe in spankings, and I'm not going to think of you to be greater if you believe in them. Like what you do is what you do, and leave it at that. But I think it's important for people to see marriage as something to be desired, not attained.
Yeah.
Like you can like it there's nothing wrong with being insanely in love with the person that you married.
Oh.
There's nothing wrong with looking at your wife like you did when she was your girlfriend.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with building something from ground zero and it take you an entire lifetime to where you guys are old and gray and you're sitting out on the porch and like, yo, we did good.
We finally got it right. Look at
Like,
me.
yo, we did good. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's just like having a show is something I've wanted to do for a long time, but I've learned that we just didn't have the experience. Well, we definitely didn't have the time. Like, we won't even go there. Like, time is still debatable right now. Like, we're cheating right now because we got a 14-year-old and it's quarantined. Because right now it would
She's not even down there with them. She's upstairs.
I know she's
painting.
right over there.
She just came down the stairs. So I'm like,
but you know, like there's so much more that I understand about marriage 9 years in that I did at 5 years, that I did at 2 years, that I did at 6 months, that there's no way of getting that except putting that time in. And it's like understanding that doing these baby steps repetitively and believing in them snowballs into something beautiful.
She wanted me to,
it's upside down.
Yeah, she wanted me to show. There you go.
But you know, it's like
I love it.
I think our generation in particular has a understandable but very warped perception of marriage. And I say that because, I mean, I think we could do a whole season talking about what we were taught about various subjects surrounding marriage, whether it be a father's role versus a husband's role.
Correct.
You know how many men I talk to that get talked to about being a father, but don't have a conversation about being a
Never
husband.
being a husband. Correct.
You know, like,
Right.
so if we would do a show, it would just be marriage. Like, it would be pillow talk, like the stuff that we talk about when we decompress from the end of the day.
Does that sound exciting to you, Ashley?
What?
Doing a show?
Uh, so yes and no.
No.
Yes and no. And I say that just because I know that we need to talk about it. I know there needs to be a voice. I know that that's one of the reasons why God put us together. I know that. Now,
Having said that,
do I like it all the time? I don't. I don't like it all the time.
You seldom like your calling.
What you say?
You seldom like your calling. Nobody is like, I love my calling. Come on. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm open to it. I just, I always think about everything else I have to do and then having to do something else, but that's more excuses.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And we know what excuses
and
are.
I don't think, and I was about to say, we know what excuses are. See, I was going to say that to him earlier, but I knew he wasn't Greek, but I didn't know you was Greek. So I would have said that early because he said something and I was going to tell him about excuses. But I had to ask this because I know that I'm not the only person that is curious and interested to know. And I do quite think that the Tyler Nation could make an effect on said world, especially at a time like this.
Yeah. Well, I think the
No pressure.
idea.
Just saying, just planting the seed,
Well, I think
You did a whole row for him. You're like, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the people that we hang out with on a regular know that it's something that I deeply desire to do, because I think one of the things that our generation has a problem with is thinking that they're the only one going through something. And like when I was doing those marriage rants, or when I do them, I get a lot of messages like, yo, I thought I was the only one that had that problem.
Yeah.
Or I thought it was just me that thought that way.
Yeah.
And not to be,
Yeah.
like no, trying to be prideful or anything, but it's just like, I think people need to know that they have permission to verbalize how they feel and not feel like they're wrong in doing that.
Absolutely. That's why I post the stuff I post.
Yeah.
Because I know that there's a lot of moms out there that feel angry,
Yes,
have anxiety about what's going on, and just can't say that, or they feel like if they say that they're bad moms. And I've been posting dirty houses and stuff for a long time. I remember when the kids were all really little and like I slept underneath the couch and there was like Fruit Loops, Ritz crackers.
But here's the thing. We need that because
Yeah.
I need you guys to understand. And I'm glad that you guys answered how you answered because you articulated why your environment wants you to have a platform. Because what you guys do is set an example and you speak to us in a way that we understand and where we don't feel alone. And you also, we see you here. So when we see you have human moments, we go, oh, okay, I'm not so bad. You know what I'm saying? For real, that's what happens.
Listen, I think that is like, I think that's one of the things that we do very, very well, is that we try to knock that wall down first. It's like, listen, yes, we go to church, I preach, I'm real, I love studying. Like, we're very active, but we're very, very human.
Right.
You know, like, just like, I know you have assumptions, I know you have perceptions, but I promise you, I'm not the kind of Christian you think that I am. And I'm going to bother, and this is just me, and I'm still working, but sometimes I get on other Christians' nerves, and they will be okay.
They'll be all right.
They will find a way. Hallelujah. But
They'll
like,
be fine.
and but I also understand that as a church body, we did that. Like, we as a body created that negative um perception of people who use church vocabulary. So
Right.
so part of that is giving people space to be mad. And it's just like, that's fine. You can be mad, but are we gonna get together and have dinner or what? After you through,
When you
you
done,
still want to go grab some coffee,
or
because I think there's some issues in the church that we need to talk about.
yeah,
And you're not wrong about how you feel.
I'm gonna plant this seed with you guys before we go. I'm gonna plant the seed for you guys, and I want you to understand, not only for the married folk are you an example, but there are a lot of us who are battling with the church, with religion versus spirituality,
Sure.
and not understanding and feeling like we have a place because the church is so judgmental. You understand what I'm saying? And you guys are such a safe space, if that makes sense, that I know that you're spiritual, but I know if I put a cuss word in my status, you're not going to send me a message and tell me I'm going to hell. Do you understand what I'm saying?
That's fair.
And
Absolutely.
and I appreciate that about you. And I just really want you guys to understand that you touch people. You touch people, you affect people with the
Sure.
regular things that you do, with the things that are just social media outlets for you and they're therapeutic for you. You touch people. You touch a lot of people. And I just needed to say that publicly so that you guys know. Because I'm not just speaking for myself right now.
You not
It's a lot of people that feel this way. And
really?
it's all under the flyer. You ain't see them.
I didn't go look. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back and look. I didn't have time to.
I know you did.
No, it's funny because I'm not the planner or the calendar, but like, I knew this was important, but like, for her, our lives are so different when I go to work. Like, I have time, like, I have time to listen to books, like, all different, all like podcasts, all different types of things. And I get to explore different thoughts because my job is pretty to myself.
Yeah.
Like, I go pick up a forklift and I can go
In the corner.
like, they'll stick me in the corner and I'm by myself. So I get to work through some things that you can't do when you have baby pigeons at you, like,
Consciously.
mommy,
Right.
hey, mommy, listen, and then somebody falls, and it so
Yeah.
um
There's somebody hungry, and then somebody
like, for her, it's not that this wasn't important, it's just that there's so many more immediate things that she's tending to that have to get done.
Yeah.
And it was like, yo, we got, like, Thursday's the day. Like, just letting you know, like, Thursday's the day. And it's just funny because it's normally me that's like, babe, what we got to do today?
But you woke up today like, don't forget.
Yeah.
Been reminding me.
But like, so, yeah. But
I want to thank you. And if there's anything I want you guys to leave this conversation and experience with, first of all, I hope this was a fun date night. First of all,
it was a fun date night. It was
good. And the next thing I want you guys to leave with, I just need you guys to know that you affect people in a positive way.
Thanks.
I really just need you guys to know that.
we try. Sometimes
You
I try to
do.
go the other way.
The Lord won't let you, but that's another whole show. Before we go, I want you guys to tell people where to find you guys on social media. And Ash, she said no. Can't listen. Is the butter page down or is it still up?
I actually tried to close it today.
And it wouldn't let you, correct?
Yeah, it wouldn't, but so Love Letter is still out. I'm still making it for my family and friends. It's just another thing on my list that I cannot devote time to. So, yeah.
What if the price is right? I will come home and watch the kids so she can make this butter and we can make some bread. You know what I'm saying? That way we all get the grilled cheese.
You get home, she don't be wanting to make no butter. But I
will call off if the price is right.
Oh my goodness.
So look, I will say this, and I do want to plant this seed, and I would love for you to give the username so that people can go and find it. Businesses being hiatus right now is not an odd thing, okay? So I'm going to say put the username out there because you don't know what God got for you coming. You don't know what he got for you coming. So
you weren't ready.
Where can they find Love Letter?
It's loveletterbyashli.com. It is Love Letter by Ashli, ASHLI.com. Where I make natural body butter, good for every skin condition.
Eczema, cradle cap, all of it.
All of it.
No joke.
All
you
of
sent me some last year.
Yes.
And I just need you to understand, I don't use makeup. You taught me a whole different routine. Because it cleared my skin up to the point where I can just
stop it.
Girl, your skin look good.
I don't have it. I put lipstick on because I be smoking the reefer and I ain't want people to know.
Not the reefer. No.
Wait. You was worried about me sounding old. Don't nobody under 50, and I'm real close to saying 60, say reefer.
The reefer.
I know people under 30 don't know what reefer is.
It's some people that's gonna be on Google. What she mean?
Siri,
reefer?
What is reefer?
What is it? Mom, what's reefer? I love y'all. I thank you for coming. Drop Love Letter by Ashli again. It's what I do. It's Love Letter by Ashli with an I. I always say it like that because I've done a couple of audio commercials for your thing. So
thank you.
David, tell everybody where they can find you. You a whole character. Tell
Listen.
He needs his own handle. I don't even know why he still goes by his full name.
No, because Facebook won't let me have a different name. Like Facebook made me so you can find me on Facebook is where I keep my antics. Facebook is literally David Tyler. Nothing special anymore.
And I'll tag you in the description so they can click on you.
Facebook won't let me be great. Instagram is his servant HIZ_SRVNT.
Yes. I just tagged you today, so that's it.
Instagram is more of my family page where you'll get the family photos and
stories.
Yeah, the stories of what goes on a day-to-day basis. Facebook, it just kind of depends on how I feel that day.
Oh yeah, but it's fun. You got y'all listen. It's a whole a whole experience.
Sometimes like I think what's important is that I guess outside of comedy, what's important to me is Black faith, Black families, and Black politics. That's really the stool that I kind of center.
You just spoke a whole tagline for you a show and you ain't even know. Hold on. Okay, keep going.
No, that's where you that's what you'll see when I'm being serious. you'll see one of those three things, and what I try to do is try to weave them together to see the cohesion that they can exist. Not that it's the only way, but that this is how we operate. Like they can be
This
done
is an
at the same
avenue that's
time. Yeah. Um, I'm on Twitter, but Twitter is more news for me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
to be aware, to be funny, and to like Twitter's my newspaper. So I'm really not
Active
that
on it.
involved there. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
But Twitter's real. Like
Listen, Twitter's a whole new world.
if you want perspective, stop pinching me. She want me to talk.
I
No, I
love
didn't.
y'all.
No, Twitter is like Facebook uncut, where you get real perspective. Like if you have an idea or you have a train of thought, let me see you put it on Twitter and go defend
And
it
see
there.
how you feel about it in a few hours.
Because if you're wrong,
They're gonna let you know.
You'll be off the social media interwebs for a little bit.
Black Twitter will tear you one.
Yeah.
Unapologetically, and then screenshot it and put it on Instagram.
And then you go viral on Facebook. After it's done, they'll hang you out to dry.
Yeah, they'll be like, "Look, y'all, we're gonna take this over here.
Look at this dummy." So yeah,
Thank you guys so much for coming on this show. This is by far one of the most fun episodes that I have done.
Hey.
It's been the most enlightening. There is a lot in this episode to speak to Black love, Black family, but also modern Black faith. And I thank you guys for coming on. I really do. I thought she was gonna laugh at me when I sent you the message, and then after you said yeah, I thought she was gonna say no.
Well, I've been known to speak prematurely for my wife because it's more selfish because I want to do it. But in my marriage, I have discerned a level of wisdom from the Holy Spirit, amen, that sometimes it's okay to check in with the neck that the head sits on.
Or else you finna have all this Black woman naked attitude, you see? All of that, you see that behind you? All of that, you want...
You know what? But it comes out in the food. Yeah, the food don't taste right when I cut up. So that again, the wisdom.
Hey, look, be careful.
Hey, the lasagna is what got me. So just saying.
I love y'all. I thank y'all for coming so much.
For having us.
Understand that this is probably not going to be the last time y'all hear from me in regards to something.
I know that.
How do you feel that in your shondo?
I know it.
I appreciate you all. This has been a long but jam-packed and fun episode of Black Quarantine Report. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm going to share it all over. It's on YouTube and Facebook. And for anyone who has not watched the show before, you can go to blackquarantinereport.com, catch all of the past shows, see who's coming up, and get all the jazz. Okay? All right, y'all. Peace out.
See ya.
Take care.
Bye, y'all.